Hello everyone, here is my classroom management presentation, and today I'm going to be going over some things like my philosophical beliefs, how rules in my classroom will be developed, how I will incorporate an inclusive classroom environment, how I'm going to communicate with parents, many different things. So I'm going to get started. So, for philosophical beliefs, I believe that students need a place to go where they feel safe, included, valued, and have a relationship with a trusted adult. And the relation part of this for me is extremely important because I believe that when we are teachers, we need to have those relationships with students and with all of our students, not just with some of them, but with all of them. And they all deserve to have that special relationship with us. And then students need to have structure and an established routine. This is crucial, especially for students who do not have that, consistency in their home life, but going to school, they can get it at school. And then every student needs to be an active participant in learning. So for example, when I'm teaching, I don't just want my students sitting there listening to me talking to them. I don't want to talk at them. I want them to be learning along as I am teaching, whether it be giving them manipulatives in math and having them do activities as I'm instructing, or even giving them guided notes, making it into a fun lesson by getting them up and moving, whatever it may be, just so they're not sitting there. Every student deserves an equal amount of instruction, guidance, and help so they have the opportunity to grow as an intellectual. I really think that students who, maybe excel a little bit more than others deserve just as much time and help and guidance from the teacher as the students who maybe struggle a bit more. All students deserve the chance to grow and develop as an individual, and as teachers, that's our duty to help them. And instruction and learning needs to be relevant to students. I really just don't want to teach things that my students they need to have an interest in, for one, but then it also needs to be relevant to their own lives and what's going on around them. And then students need to know how to collaborate and cooperate with their peers. And then the classroom is a community. I really want to create that community-like environment in my classroom. And when they come to school, it's more of a family than just a bunch of people in a room together. We're a family, we're a community, we help each other. And then I want to promote lifelong learning for my students. I don't want them to just, I don't want to teach them one thing one day and then have them walk out of the room and, never use it again. I want to teach them things that they're going to use for the rest of their lives. So how will rules be developed? My students will have an opportunity to make a list of 5 classroom rules that everyone agrees upon. They will then sign it, and it will be hung in the room to refer back to at any time. So I'm going to split my entire class up into small groups, and then as small groups, they will come up with their list of rules as they see fit, and then together we will write the rules on the board, and then my students will have a chance to vote on the 5 rules that they believe are the most important. And then there will be certain rules that are obviously established by me, the teacher, that all the students are required to follow, that are broad, and they encompass a lot, but they're just as important as any other rule. And that's, be respectful, be responsible, be safe. And then listen to all school staff, including teachers, principals, administrators, cooks, janitors, counselors, therapists, and any other adult that may be in the building. Every single adult in the building, I believe, deserves every child's respect regardless of their position. And I want all of my students to respect every single adult as they would any other teacher or principal. So rewards and incentives. For recognition, I will display student work. I will use certificates and, for like perfect attendance or a nice deed that's done. And then positive phone calls home. I really want to stress the importance of not just waiting to contact a parent when something goes wrong or their children has misbehaved in some way. I really want to be able to contact the parents about positive things their students do so that they know that whenever they may get a call from me or whatever the communication may be, it's not just something negative. And then having a student of the week, having a student be able to be in the spotlight for the week, I think is a great thing. Privileges, so choosing a read aloud book, taking a teddy bear home for the weekend. So this was something I did when I was in kindergarten. If one of the students in the class did a nice deed during the week, they were recognized for it by being able to take the class teddy bear home, and then they got to write in their journal about what they did with the teddy bear, and they were given a little certificate. It was a big thing for kindergartners at the time. And then 5 minutes extra recess. Activities, fill the marble jar. So this is another one that I did when I was in elementary school. For every nice deed done, or if we had a really good day as a class as a whole, we would get so many marbles per day. And then when the jar was filled up, we'd get to do something fun, like having a read-in, or maybe watching a Magic School Bus video. It's just something little like that. A free homework night, and being appointed as a special helper. And all of this I got from the book, the Classroom Management book, and it was a really great resource for some of these things. So for tangible awards, students will get paid every week for doing their classroom jobs, and for every $100 that they earn, they will be able to put their name in a raffle that will happen every Friday before they leave. So this one I actually did in my own practicum experience, and it was great. The students loved it. They were paid every week for their jobs, whether it be washing down the chalkboards or collecting papers or sweeping the floor. They really liked having their own job and then getting paid for it. It was an incentive, and it was fun, something fun to look forward to at the end of the week. Okay, so handling misbehavior. I'll have a system set up for handling misbehavior in my classroom that includes a series of steps if the undesirable behavior continues. So the first offense, I would talk to the student privately. Second offense, I would have students take a break for a specified amount of time. Third offense, the student has loss of a privilege, whatever the teacher sees fit. And then fourth offense, I would definitely call home to the parents. And then also, I really, really liked the discipline through congruent communication theory. I just think that it really focuses on putting the responsibility on the child. And this theorist, I'm probably not going to pronounce his name right, Haim Ginott. I really, really liked his method, reading about it in the book. Like I said, it was all about positive communication and putting the responsibility on to the students' shoulders, and just kind of, they had to be able to take the responsibility for their actions. But there's a lot of great communication going on between the teacher and the student. Okay, so communication with parents. Parents would get a weekly newsletter that is sent home with students on Friday. I would invite parents into the classroom. I just think that that's a great thing to do whenever possible, and I want parents to be in my room. I want them to see what we're doing, and if they're willing to come in, great. I will have a closed Facebook page that parents can be a part of if they choose to be, and if not, that's kind of where the newsletter would come in, so parents would kind of be getting the information twice, but at least, they would be getting it, repeatedly, and they wouldn't be wondering what was going on. They would have options. I would contact parents regularly and within reason about a student's behavior problem before scheduling a conference. And then I will offer several times for parents to meet with me before and after school. That availability for parents is crucial as well, especially for the working parents, which the majority of them are going to be. Social skills and routines for the first day. Communicate expectations to students about appropriate behavior, going over routines and having visual aids, especially for our little ones. And even into, kindergarten, first grade, second grade, those visual aids are crucial for students. So having them posted around the room for all students to be able to look at it's a great thing. Modeling procedures and having students practice them, and then practice them again, and probably again, especially especially for our kindergartners and ones just coming into school. They need that practice again and again throughout the day. And having rules set in place for the first day and make classroom rules together, discussing consequences and sharing a system of tracking student behavior. So I believe that students should know what the consequences if they misbehave. I don't want them to be questioning what happens if maybe they do get in trouble for something one day or they are acting out. They should be able to know what their consequences are and be ready to take responsibility for them. And giving a tour of a classroom where things can be found and set boundaries. There's definitely going to be spots in the classroom that students probably shouldn't be allowed, like different closet space or storage space, and it's okay to have those boundaries, I think, for students, but they should also know what they are. And then having icebreakers and greetings, it's a fun thing for the first day and for all students to get to know one another. So student misbehavior, where will they go? I would have students, depending on what the behavior is, go and sit at their desk to take a break. And I would have an area for students who need help calming down in the back of the room or the corner of the room, and I would have like stress balls, comfy and soft seating, calming music, coloring pages, or foam, and that moon sand, just calming things for my students to do, especially if they just need to kind of take a breath and decompress. And then if the student needs a change of scenery, another classroom could be used, perhaps another teacher's classroom, counselor's office, or therapist's office. And I would already have this, set in place. I wouldn't just send my student over there. I would, especially behavior was repeating, and I would talk to my other coworkers and see if we could, kind of coordinate something and figure something out. And then as a very last resort, the principal's office. I don't want to be that teacher who, as soon as I can't handle something, I just put it on the principal's back and then they have to deal with it. But depending on what the behavior is, if it is very serious, the principal's office is where I would send them. And then, as you can see in the picture, this is kind of like the comfy, soft seating that I had kind of pictured, or just an idea of what it could be. And as for language management, I would talk to students as if their parents are in the room, and I would use positive language and keep away from the negatives. And then I really like the love and logic theory when it comes to language management, and saying things instead of sit down right now, we're going to start, being able to say I'll begin as soon as you are seated. It keeps that negative language away, and I really want to be that positive teacher. I don't want to always focus on the negatives. And then lastly, the inclusive classroom environment. Let's see. I would have a student of the week, and I would invite parents into the classroom to teach about culturally relevant content that they would know more about or have personal experience with. Obviously, I'm not going to have experience with, certain things, and if parents do, I would love to have them come in and talk about it or talk about their culture. I think that would be great. Having culturally relevant lessons, especially if I have a really, really diverse class, or it's important whenever, regardless, it's important whenever. But I really want to stress the importance of having lessons that are relevant to my students. Reading books that represent different cultures, teaching and singing songs about different cultures, being aware of and sensitive to the cultures and beliefs of students that are in the classroom. So, some students, their culture, it's disrespectful to look them in the eye. But as a teacher, you need to be aware of that and respecting that. And then lastly, language. This one's extremely important. And, as teachers, we're going to have a lot of kids in our classroom that they're going to speak different languages as their first language. It's not going to be English as their first language. So even just like knowing a couple phrases of that student's first language for us to communicate, especially with the parents, it creates that safe environment, and you feel more included, and it's more of that close relationship. So, and that's everything, and I hope you enjoyed and learned a lot. Thanks.